are live with the final finale prediction stream. And I'm joined by our co-host, Pen Patrol Star Wars, who's been here every week. Thank you very much, Anthony. Thanks for sticking it out with me. Pen Patrol Star Wars, who's
Yeah,
been here
man,
every
it's been
week.
such a great
Thank
time
you very
hanging out
much,
with you for all
Anthony.
these
Thanks
streams. I
for
love it.
sticking it out with me. Pen Patrol Star Wars, who's
Yeah,
been here
man,
every
it's
week.
been such a great
Thank
time
you very
hanging out
much,
with you for all
Anthony.
these
Thanks for
streams.
thanks
I
for
love it.
sticking it out with me. Pen Patrol Star Wars, who's
Yeah,
been here
man,
every
it's
week.
been
All right, totally just starting now. We are back with the eventful the Acolyte finale prediction streams with Anthony from Pen Patrol Star Wars. Thanks again. You deserve two thanks just because you've agreed to stick it out. Well, we are here. We are here. It is the final week. We're a little bit over an hour away from the final episode of the Acolyte season 1, potentially, or in general. I don't know. We'll have to find out.
yeah, it kind of adds a little bit of excitement, maybe some, and not animosity, like anxiousness, maybe for what might come next if there is something that comes next. Kind of
Yeah.
maybe a little bittersweet.
Yeah, and I know last week was Galaxy on last week? Let me check. Yes, he was.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
talked about the idea too, potentially, of like, if they finish the Acolyte, we still would potentially want to see more of just the High Republic in general. So whether some of these characters show up or all of them die, depending on what happens, it could be cool, I guess. Kind of either way though, whether they, because like this is pretty much towards the end of the High Republic, so it would be interesting to see a couple, or like 500 years even before this too, like keep kind of moving around, seeing the different eras. Yeah, I guess what were your thoughts of last week's episode, and did we get our
all right.
predictions?
Okay. We did not hit our predictions at all. Like, not at all. All of us were wrong. We got the flashback part right, but everything else, um, yeah, it didn't get that right. But for me, I'm not gonna lie, like I was a little taken aback by yeah, last week's episode when I first saw it. I was like a little bit like, damn, I thought we were gonna do like a 50-50 thing here, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of felt like a little animosity towards it, and then I went back and watched it the next day, and I was like, okay, actually, it was fire. It was actually really pretty good. But how
Okay,
about
so
you?
the second watch through was better. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Yeah, I did feel kind of similar. Unfortunately, I was really hoping that with that longer episode, it would be like we were saying, not the entirety of it to be flashback. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were some cool things to see. I definitely liked the action, specifically seeing Torbjorn. I mean, slicing arrows midair. That was pretty cool. Seeing Kelnaka actually getting at a Wookiee Jedi in live action, like that was cool for sure. I was hoping for a little bit more in the penultimate like episode though, right before the finale, like as far as our plot, because personally now I just feel like there's a lot to do in this final episode. It's gonna be harder to stick the landing, so I'm curious what direction they go with it to kind of wrap everything up, and how they'll kind of take it, because we got a lot of plot lines to end if this is the end of the Acolyte, I guess. And I don't know. This has got to be like super fast paced is my guess, or of what it would need to be. But what do you think?
Yeah, I really have no idea what they're gonna do with this because like I really didn't. I really like not in a million years. Like I would have put money on it 100 times and again, saying that they wouldn't have spent the entire last episode doing a flashback. In a way, I'm kind of glad that they did,
Hmm.
but
Oh, my camera is frozen. What the heck? Oh,
oh,
well, wonder if it fixed it. I just turned it off on. Oh, sorry. What were you
okay.
saying?
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I think you're right. Like they might have to do like a faster pace kind of thing there because you know don't really don't really know where it's gonna go.
Hmm.
Because I have no idea where they're going. Um, that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. I would have put money on it. I would have never guessed that the entire last episode would have been a flashback.
Yeah, we were all very confident in that especially because it was longer. Like it was like the longest episode yet, or like the second longest, or something like that. I'm not sure. Seth's digging your chopper in the background, which I'm jealous of. You said he can make
Thank you,
some
thank you.
noise, right? Some
He
noises.
does make noise. He makes noises. He's very vocal. Hold on. He moves too. Look at that. I love him.
Yeah, that's awesome. What? How much did he cost? Where do you get him?
I got him on Amazon. He was like maybe $30, maybe 30, 40.
Wow, that's a nice deal. That he's big too. Like in the background, it doesn't seem as much, but he's like that's a good size figure. It
Yeah,
sounds just
I
like him
love
too.
it.
I'm
And
jealous.
he does yeah, he does a little laugh and everything. I love him. Dog doesn't love him, but that's all right.
Yeah, what does Ruby do when she hears Chopper?
Uh, you know how little dogs sound when they bark? Like that. For a 65-pound dog. It's lovely. Ear piercing.
Oh, great. Awesome. Wow. Yeah, we certainly okay, so with this final prediction stream, we're kind of having fun with it for sure. A lot to cover though. A lot to cover in this hour. So, yeah. I mean, it is a prediction stream, so we're gonna have to make some kind of predictions, I guess. I'm a little bit what's the word, anxious this time to make predictions after last week's butt kicking, but because we generally had a decent record, every time. Okay, I'm gonna knock on wood because last time I said that because I said that last time, and
Yeah, that's right, you did.
yeah, I knocked on wood this time.
Yeah, all right, let's start with how do you think the episode's gonna start?
Oh yeah, the start. I think the start is really like probably one of the hardest questions to answer. The thing is, it's hard now because it's been essentially 2 weeks now since we saw this, like the current timeline. So I gotta like kind of, it almost is more beneficial. We can break down episode 7, but also to talk about episode 6 a little bit. And where did we kind of leave off? We left off with Osha with Kamir putting the helmet on. That's the last thing we saw there. I think the biggest question marks is, does it start off and as the plot just progressed a bit where she's just wearing it to begin with, or because I can almost seem like a small time skip, but just to help with the plot, which people might not like. It might not happen. I'm just saying, from maybe I could see like just a couple day to a week or two little skip in time, but no, that wouldn't really make sense now that I think about it, because we've got Venestra and her crew kind of looking around. I don't know. I guess the story. What is Soul doing? What did he leave off with? Like,
He said, "I've spent 16 years thinking about what I would say to you, and now I'm gonna say," kind of thing. So
okay, and he said.
Hmm?
And he said everything to May like that. So we got the flashback told from his perspective. That's essentially what the last episode was. His truthful perspective of the flashback. So May now knows everything. Yeah, I feel like it would make sense to actually start off, I guess, with Soul and May, maybe, to see just everyone's thoughts in the matter and what's going on. Or what do you think?
They're in hyperspace, right? So remember how May was in the front of the cockpit for like a couple minutes?
Yep.
What if she reset the coordinates? Because he was going to Coruscant. I don't think he checked the coordinates when he put it in the hyperspace. So, because remember the Jedi was like, "All right, please stay there. Don't go anywhere. We're tracking your transponder or whatever." And then he's like, "Screw you," and then jumps to hyperspace. So he doesn't like take a look. So, is it possible that May, while she was in there, just changed the hyperspace or changed the coordinates for hyperspace? So that means he wouldn't be able to get back to Coruscant. Also means we probably won't see the High Council, but he won't get the Coruscant.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. I mean, his ship already had problems with communicating, so it's already somewhat damaged. There's she could have messed with the wiring somehow, or yeah, like you're saying, mid hyperspace adjusted the route slightly. What if she adjusted the route towards Kamir's planet and that unknown planet where they're currently at? I don't know why she necessarily would, but maybe with this newfound knowledge, she would want to find Osha quicker. I don't necessarily know why, but with maybe, with a new perspective on something, it might want to change attitudes, I guess. Because I mean, we leave off with, May, similar to her childhood, wants to be with Osha, and that doesn't work out again. But I think ultimately her path, there's got to be another confrontation in this episode between Osha and May. Like that's ultimately what the story has kind of revolved around, right? Like we're probably going to see Osha and May again in this finale, I would imagine, on the same screen.
Yeah, it has to be. I don't know. It maybe those planets are close to each other. Was it Kofar and the unknown planet? They might be close to each other because
Mhm.
they got to that planet really quickly. So
Yeah.
it has to be close to Kofar.
And
So maybe
that in between episode 5 and 6, now that thinking about it, like we do kind of jump a little bit ahead between those two episodes. I could almost see a similar, like, I don't know if it's a couple hours or like a day, but like that's what the jump I'm kind of anticipating now moving forward. We're certainly going to need to watch the recap. I think anyone watching the stream right now, I think this would be a great time to watch the recap, because I'm sure they'll tell more about like the last two episodes, because that would make sense. Usually do a good job with that. But yeah, I certainly hope we get answers. The scars on Kamir back, fact checker is saying, yeah, so in episode 6 we got teased that. You also saw a lightsaber whip. I mean, is there a connection there, or is it elsewhere?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning towards that being like a lightning scar. Like I think it's Tenebras who had red lightning. No, it was Tenebras with red lightning, right?
Um, I think there's images with him there. I'm not entirely sure of the validity, but I think I would believe it. I mean, he's a Dark Lord.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that like even though he was a former Jedi, I think that had to come from a former master. Because there's still an actor we haven't seen in the show yet. I forget his name, but we haven't seen him at all. Um,
Well, I'm excited then. I'm hoping they're a Dark Lord. That would be sick. Now,
yeah.
the thing I want to ask you
Mhm.
about the last episode, the detail. So when the confrontation between the witches and the Jedi is happening, at some point, Mother Koril like transcends into the Force, right? Or not transcends into the Force, sort of like, witch like, and like kind of
Yeah.
skirts off, like her particles skirt off. That can't just be there for no reason. Like that, my prediction, where I'd say I'm the most confident, like something that's like, let's say important, is Mother Koril is going to show up one way or another this episode. Like they can't just tease that, right? Or did I see that wrong? Like she didn't die, right?
She didn't die, but I don't think she's gonna show up in this episode.
Really?
I think she's gone off and done her own thing. I know from the Leslie interview she said that no body, no confirmed death type of thing. So like we don't know if she's dead, or we don't know if she's dead or not, but I don't think we see her. I think maybe she goes to find another coven maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. It's 16 years in the future. I don't know
Yeah.
if she would just be kind of like lurking
True.
around for them. She might be looking for other ways to either get back at the Jedi or just in other
Yeah.
places of belonging. Because I think if I remember correctly from episode 3, the whole point of the Coven was because they were kind of like on the run. They were trying to avoid
Yeah.
the Republic and the Jedi. So I could see
Yeah.
her going to say, for example, Dathomir or something like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I mostly just say it from a like film perspective of like, I just thought it was interesting that they, highlighted for a second her particles going away. I personally like, that's my prediction. I prefer your train of thought. Like I would prefer if that happened. Mostly because exactly that. I mean, they got away from the Jedi. It wouldn't necessarily make sense for her to like embrace something very similar to a Jedi in the Sith. Like from like there's Jedi and then there's Jedi and Sith. Like, you know, we got like a spectrum, and then there's like witches. Like, it's not in the same plane of array, you know. So like,
Yeah.
if she just hopped on the Sith train to fight these Jedi, you'd really have to convince me if that happened. You know, like that would be pretty tough.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I really I couldn't imagine her getting in line with whatever Kemir's doing. I think there are answers that we need to get for how Kemir knows so much about everything, but it literally just might be the case of what he said in the sixth episode where like he's kind of talking about like how Osha leaves her mind kind of open,
Hmm.
but he's also not like searching. She's just kind of revealing things to him because he's
Yeah.
playing the vulnerable card. So that
Mhm.
might be the answer, but I don't see Coral aligning herself with a Sith or anything. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe if she does show up, I think it would make the most sense, or which, you know, I don't know if she will or not, but if she was almost like a third party, like let's say there was some kind of conflict between the Sith and like in this final episode, and she somehow, okay, I'm making it very confusing, but I can see her as like almost a third party of sorts. I don't know how, um, but I guess that's just my thoughts. But yeah, I I want to get into now kind of the same question now I've asked, or we've kind of discussed kind of every week, because it's, in my opinion, still the most interesting and kind of one of the main reasons why I'm watching this show, though, is how do they make it all kind of connect and make sense? Like, what route are they going to go? We still have Master Soul alive, you know, some Jedi investigating the dead bodies. They saw these dead bodies. Are they going to go the route of kill everyone? Like, you know, hide the evidence, that route, or how do they make it all connect? You know, we've talked about this now a couple different weeks, and I don't really know going into it. I lean towards slash kind of, it would be cool to see a Sith Lord come and just kind of kill everyone, but it leaves the question though, like what happens to Osha and May? So many questions. What do you think in this, you know, 2-month-old question now we've had essentially?
I think it has to do with whatever Vernestra does, honestly. I think it all leads back to Vernestra, and that's kind of where I'm like I just kind of thought about this while you're talking, which is why it's so great to do these streams. But like while you're talking, I kind of thought about this like what if the limited role for that one actor, what if he's someone that would be like say for example a member in the council or someone from the Senate instead of a Sith Lord. And so you go down the route of an actual cover up taking place where Vanessa knows something happened, but she covers it up to cover herself. Um, but the only reason I wouldn't say that is because she seems to know that something else is going on here. She keeps referencing this to tip the scales, like she said it twice in a row. This kind
Hmm.
of notion that there's going to be something to tip the scales, and here's a tidbit that isn't in the show, but Master Vernestra has like the if you remember before they went to Kofar, one of the Jedi was like, "Oh, but you get sick in hyperspace."
Hmm.
She,
Yeah.
from what I understand, I don't know, I might phrase this wrong, but she apparently has really intense visions during hyperspace travel. So she might see things that no one else might see through the force, like force visions, because she naturally that's something from the books that she has intense visions of some sort. I don't know what kind, but during hyperspace, she has these visions. So that might tie back into her saying something that tips scales. I'm not sure though.
Yeah. I do think that, just like, you know, within film, like it wouldn't necessarily, like, it doesn't matter, but it wouldn't make sense if they would reference that without it being almost important to some extent, or like it would make sense is what I'm trying to get at. Like, if, yeah, if she's saying if that Jedi was saying she gets sick in hyperspace, it's probably a little bit more to it, kind of like what you're saying. And you also said that Venestra is like very powerful Jedi Master, and like and beyond that a lot of potential, right? So that would make sense from like the Jedi standard or standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, she's like the child prodigy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Um, I mean, I definitely want to see a conflict. Let's like after episode 5, I want to see some episode 5 level action. I mean, that is a big ask, but I don't know. The thing is, there's so many. I feel like regardless, there has to be some kind of like whether it's a cleanup or everyone dies, there's gonna be some kind of conflict in this last episode. Like somebody has got to die. Somebody's got to die, and we know they're not afraid of killing people. So, yeah, my totally bold prediction is at least one person dies in this tonight's episode. What do you think of that? Do you think that's too bold, or?
I think that's pretty good. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll have another flashback episode.
Oh my, that would be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think a little bit now. When they were on Kofar, oh my gosh, these week to weeks, so bad, so bad. Apologies, those that have kept with my poor pronunciations. Anyhow, when Venestra and her group of Jedi are investigating, they notice quickly that Master Soul isn't there, and at least one of them believes now he's the prime suspect. Did they? I forget if Venestra agreed or disagreed with that, and is that going to be a potential conflict in itself? I mean, Master Soul's obviously prone to conflict himself and emotion to some extent, and now his whole strike team was massacred. Could we see a just crazy scenario where it's not like just Jedi versus Sith, but like I mentioned the idea of a third party, but like, you know, Master Soul is frustrated with the Jedi for, I guess, maybe he feels that he's to blame, but also the Jedi are to blame for what had happened ultimately, like with Osha and May. Maybe that leads him to have some animosity towards Venestra, while Osha and Kamir are kind of on a different party, I guess. I could see this really culminating into like a really wild kind of finale. I just don't know. I feel like the thing is, the unknown planet, it's unknown. So where does everything kind of wrap up? Like, which planet does it come back to Kovar and everything, or Kofar and everything gets kind of concluded there, or like mid-space dogfight? I don't know.
I think we could see a dogfight. That'd be interesting. I don't know who would be dogfighting who, but
well, I'm just thinking because there's so many different like I can see some kind of interception going on. You know, like it's tough. Like if everything concludes on the unknown planet, how do they get there? Like how do they find that? Or do they research systems that are close proximity to Kelfar?
that wouldn't be on. I think they've done that in Clone Wars, so I could see that happening. Um, I think it ends up on the unknown planet or Brendok. I'm not really sure though. It's got to be one of the two. Um,
Brendok, and that's like
I,
the first or the second episode, right?
that's the planet that Osha and May are from. The one with the virgins.
Oh, jeez, I'm all over the place, man. Okay, that does
That's
make
it.
sense. Man, it would be really cool. Something I do, or I kind of wish. I mean, we have like some, like you have like the map of the galaxy behind you. It would be kind of cool to if they like just via like a website or something like that. They had like a little team kind of like guide through each episode, kind of what's going on. Almost, I know it's super complex for Star Wars. Game of Thrones kind of does that a little bit. They kind of like they have the map and it's kind of like for House of the Dragon, it's almost like kind of live updated to where the show is at kind of currently. Anyhow, just a little tidbit, but it would be kind of cool to see some of these hyperspace routes, and it's like, okay, like the characters in question are on, you know, Brendok here, while some of them are currently on hyperspace towards the unknown planet. Like, but you know, it's complex. But some Jep is saying Brendok. That's his guess. It seems maybe Brendok.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think there's some like genuine, like really large inspirations that the show takes from Last Jedi. And I kind of again while you were speaking about the potential of going back to Brendok and even the usage of the galaxy, um I could see them doing something kind of like Last Jedi. I don't know if you remember, but in the Last Jedi, the big three arcs that happened, which were the Finn arc, the Resistance being chased arc, and then the Rey and Ben and Kylo arc, all ended at the Holdo maneuver. So all the three arcs came to this giant conclusion when there was that big explosion. So
Hmm.
I'm curious if not in the same way, obviously, they're not gonna do, like, a hold maneuver, but, like, I'm curious if in the same way, they're building up so that all those arcs and this is kinda going to the idea that we end on Brendok. You have all those arcs coming together. So, Osha and May, that started on Brendok. Soul started on Brendok. All those arcs kinda coming together, and then I don't know where Vanestra fits into that. That's my only thing. I don't know where she fits into that at all, unless it's, like, unless she's completely removed from whatever happens if they go to Brendok.
Yeah, I think that's a that's a fun idea. I always like the visuals and like scenery. I think it would make for an epic finale if they did somehow return to Brendok and the climax took place over like the ruins of the castle and the mountain almost. Like that would be a very dark setting to kind of set the tone. But I mean, there's a million options, so you can't you can't accept that or expect that. I mean, but that could be fun.
I do have a question for you then.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned, like, this duel taking place in the mine, right? You've read the Bane trilogy, I haven't yet. For a Sith, if they do go the route with a Sith Lord, for example, if that actor we haven't seen yet is a Sith Lord and not like a Jedi
Mhm.
Council member or a politician, do you think it's at all
A
possible that a
Sith
Sith would
Lord?
a
I'm
Sith
sorry.
Lord?
I'm sorry.
Do you think it's possible for a Sith to choose Brendok because there's a vergence there? We know the Sith are trying to manipulate the Force, not to create life, but to manipulate it. Do you
Mhm,
think it's possible for a Sith to go there? Because I'm not saying what happened at Brendok was a wound in the Force. I'm not saying that the Coven created a wound, but like the darkness that they used, along with the darkness of the event surrounding their travesty. Do you
mhm,
think, and the Jedi not going back there anymore? The Jedi have obviously kind of cut ties with Brendok, it seems. Would
mhm.
it make sense for a Sith to call Brendok home?
Man, you make a really great point for because your your intuition serves you right. Yes, a Sith Lord such as Darth Bane or Darth Nihilus would feed off of the negative energy and the darkness that happened there. Like they would thrive in that environment. They like Darth Bane might not even have to eat there. Like he could probably just live in the castle ruins and be sustained. Just it, and the dark side is so cruel, and that's what makes it so interesting too. Though, but like certainly that could be a home for a Sith Lord or just any dark side user, really. But yeah, I mean, in the first book, towards the end of the book of Darth Bane, he's critically injured, and he essentially like basically saps the life energy out of like innocence and oh, it's almost not even necessarily like he directly steals their life energy. It's like more so him like killing them or like causing pain to them. It's similar to Maul. Think of Maul's just like really good example of the embodiment of the dark side, specifically like surviving after getting, cut by Obi-Wan. He just survives off of pure hatred in like a basically a dumpster planet, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, hate is a very powerful emotion for a dark side user. That would be super interesting if we ended up on Brendok, and I mean it's been close to 2 decades. I mean 16 years or whatever. A lot can change in that time. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily seem like Kamir is the Sith Lord, right? He just is he just someone that expresses himself with the Force and wants to do whatever you want. I would say I don't even know, I haven't even said this yet, but I would actually call Kamir a good, like a perfect example of another dark Jedi. Actually, even though, like, and I probably will get flame. Somebody will flame me for saying that, but that's just how I feel from the definitions and what I've seen so far. He could end up having, like, he could have had a Sith master, but he just wants to do whatever he wants, and that's the embodiment of a dark Jedi. Like that's like he. Oh, I'm gonna make some lore videos using some of his quotes because it's perfect. Perfect. Please don't actually become a Sith. Okay, that could be cool too, but I have so many ideas now. No.
Yeah, I mean, he does specifically say, like, "You would call me a Sith," but, like, he doesn't say, "I am a Sith." If you're a Sith, you
Mhm.
would say, "I'm a Sith," and then
Yeah.
kill everyone, but he doesn't say that, he says, "You would call me that." So that kinda leads me to the He's not a Sith. Also, I don't know if you caught this or not, but in the last episode, the Kylo Ren theme played twice more. I think.
I
I
think I
heard
did
it.
hear it one time this time.
Yeah, it was during the duel with Kalnaka, and that makes me
Yeah,
like
yeah, I did hear that. What the heck?
that's gotta mean that's kind of why maybe they are going back to Brendok because like that at least all right going from the motif you hear in a show like if you hear a theme in a show and you hear that theme play twice that plays twice in episode 5 when Osha hears the lightsaber duel and then she sees obviously the fight. The second time you hear that is when Kimir is walking over to her and putting a blanket on her. So if we hear that on Brendok, right, musically thinking, haha, music major, musically thinking, you're associating that with him because that's where you first heard it. You hear it with Osha and Kimir first. Now you're hearing it in a completely different place without the two of them. Maybe musically they're telling us that they're going to go back to that place, right? Am I smoking crack right now? Is this making sense?
I mean, I think you're more of the expert when it comes to music. It would be nice to have Dan on too, because I think you guys would really be hit. I'm an illiterate when it comes to music, but I hear what you're saying. I'm trying to follow along. Yeah, that would make sense. While you were talking and describing it, I thought of something that would be super epic. I don't think it would happen, but like, what if the Jedi like Venestra, Sol, May, Osha, Kamir, they all confront on Brendok. They get sucked in there somehow, and they're like mid-fight, like, you know, blah blah blah. They're fighting, and then what we just talked about, the true Sith emerges is like, I'm killing every one of these, and then everybody like Kamir and the Jedi have to fight against the Sith at once, almost like a team up.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I hope we see that. I don't know if we will see
That's
that,
pretty
but
bold.
I really hope we see that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I thought of it. You know, if we
Yeah.
predict every possible outcome, we'll get it.
We'll get it right, just not last week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Yeah, no. But I think of the episode so far, truly, I'm like, we have the most context, yet I'm the most like, there's the most amount of question marks as far as like, I don't know how they're gonna do it, because there's a lot of different options on ways to do it. I think there's certainly still questions that need to be answered, but there's still unlimited options of how they're answered. There's a limited amount of what, but an unlimited amount of like why, almost, if you get my drift.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think I don't know. They got so many answers, questions to answers to questions. Yeah, they got so many. I just don't know.
Yeah.
They got a lot of things to tie up.
Yeah.
And at least I know from what Leslie said, she's gone on the basis that there won't be a second season. Not that she doesn't want a second season, but she's gone on the basis that like if there's a second season, it's not like Ahsoka where it ends off here and you have to wait till next season. It's like you end here and that's the end, like that conclusion. Also, by the way, I don't know if you heard this or not. She said that if she got a chance to make a second season of Acolyte, she was thinking that it would be cool to do like a Plagueis and Palpatine thing. So that'd be even more separated. That's Palpatine's born 50 years after this, so
Yeah.
that kind of gets the whole, well, if there's a second season, then it has to happen, right? Blah, you know. So
yeah, it's certainly a time period I want to explore. Darth Plagueis. I love the Darth Bane trilogy. I think I like more because there's more of it. But like, if there was a trilogy of Darth Plagueis, I don't know what I would choose. Like, there's so much good lore. Yeah, I do like that. For the short term, me likes the idea that this is a closed show, though, so I can get a conclusion. Because as fun as Ahsoka is, it's like, I want more, and I know I shouldn't. You know, at the end of it.
I know I should. I want that. I want that hug. I want that hug. I'm pressed. I'm gonna be pressed till I die.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. So I'm and Yeah, this talking about this though, and just talking with you is it's making me excited to see the Mandoverse though, and just Ahsoka season 2 and Mando Grogu movie, and just the continuation there as well. So lots more to predict and discuss in the future. Lots of more fun to be had, which is
Yeah.
exciting to look forward to. But as Qui-Gon would say, I need to focus on the present and the now. I think that's what he says. Anyhow, so the present now is the Acolyte. I have a poll up. Everyone hasn't voted yet. Vote, but it seems I just asked how will it end to make sense. I just put 2 options: everyone dies or cover up. There's more options. I just think those are the 2 like most likely options, or there could be a mix of those 2. It seems that most people think that everyone dies. Now I kind of want to start asking more specific polls and questions. And first of all, I'll start by just asking you, Osha and May. Do they die? Does one of them die? They both die?
I don't know.
Is one of
I
them
really,
the dark side forever?
it's a darker show. I could really see it going that direction. I mean, the Acolyte in the name is the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Kimir's obviously latched on to Osha, realizing that May doesn't have the capability to be a dark side user.
Yeah.
So maybe like it isn't the test for becoming a Sith is like you have to kill somebody. Like you have to kill someone, a Jedi at least. You have to kill a Jedi, get their lightsaber. Maybe Kimir's test for, say for example, the Knights of Ren, if that's what this is to kill her sister, but that might not be enough of a test for her because she really like hasn't really shown any reason to be like, you're my sister, I really care about you. She's still like, I hate you. Like, I'm
Which one,
taking you to
Osha or
jail.
May?
Osha.
Yeah. Because they're so like, I'm losing the word, but like they're kind of like flip floppy almost as far as like love.
Yeah.
It's a very love hate emotional relationship. I think if anything, May cares way more about Osha, which is like, face value wouldn't make sense, but no, I mean it makes sense. I could totally see Osha embracing her darkness and killing May as like a test of sorts. It still begs the question though as to like, I lean towards they both tragically die. Like I could see a scene like I just see in my head playing of like they kill each other in the same moments and they're like in each other's arms and like forgive each other in that moment, or some kind of tragic scene like that, which would definitely be tough. But I mean, as far as like that would be my prediction. They somehow one of them kills each other type thing, or they both kill each other. I think their stories are kind of intertwined. Yeah, it's tough. As far as Master Soul, he's either he's either dead this episode, no more Soul Patrol, or he's mind wiped. I don't see like that one machine in Mando season 3, like with Dr. Pershing. Like he's either getting that treatment or he's dead.
I don't want him to die. I really don't. He's been like my favorite character of the show so far. I love Soul. I love his actor too. He was great in Squid Games, but like
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna die. There's no way he doesn't. No, right? I don't know. What are you thinking? I think there's no way he's surviving.
Oh yeah, he's cooked. He is cooked. GG.
Kimir smoking a pack of Soul.
Yeah. All right. Let's end this poll. It seems most people want, or not want, but predict everyone dies. It's a bit brutal wording from me. I want to ask the question, since we just talked about it. I'm just gonna say who dies, and then I can do 4 options. I can add 4 options. I'm gonna put Osha, May, and both or neither. Osha, May, both. I think it would be wild if neither of them died, but it could. Yeah, they did see everything and they're aware of stuff, but like, what if they come back to their roots now that they're older? I mean, they talked about like the the innocence of youth. And when you're a kid, you don't necessarily know what you want, which is kind of true to some extent. Like you as a young child, lots of dreams, aspirations. As you're older, you might mature or whatever. But what if they come back to their roots? I could see the story making sense from a lore perspective without them dying. Like I guess the only way I could see them like both going unscathed, they come back to the roots, they somehow make up, and they either return to Brendok or just somewhere out of the galaxy to like continue the witches. That's my of how they don't die. I think at least one of them dies, but that's me putting that out there. If people want a reason for them to live, I guess, when we're predicting. I mean, they're alive for at least 35 more minutes, so if that makes you happy.
I think in the only circumstance where they live, I don't think both of them live. I'm really leaning towards Osha kills May, and I think May's gonna be surprised by it. I think it's gonna be kind of like you remember that scene where they were kind of like hinting at this emotional vibe in episode 5 where they had that like pan around hug scene. I think it's gonna be that's where the real emotion comes from, because I feel like the emotion of that scene came from May, which was like gaslighting and manipulative, which is why it kind of felt off.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, you might feel maybe completion because Osha's going to have that moment where she feels vindicated for all those years of suffering because she thought her family died because of May.
I'm sorry. I got distracted by Jep said Soul is going to get got. It's just funny. It's sad but funny. Well, okay. What did you say? Sorry. I got distracted.
No, you're good. I think it's just gonna be like the moment where that emotional moment that we saw in 5, where May's feeling all the emotions. I think it's gonna be the inverse, where May is feeling all the Osha's feeling all the emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of a role reversal of sorts, right? From where we started.
Yeah, I think we as an audience will feel more because we've been with Osha more than we've been with May, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we might feel like completion almost.
Yeah. The Cunningham family agrees. Soul is going to die. It doesn't seem like many people believe Soul's going to make it out. Our leading poll right now is both, but there is a considerable amount that say neither. I guess it's not a large sample size, but make sure to vote in the poll. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this Osha and May thing. I think, the main protagonist of the show, essentially. Okay, main characters of the show. I don't know how to define protagonists and antagonists in the show. Good and evil are just a point of view. Okay, read the Darth Bane trilogy, and your morals might become questionable now. No, it's a good story though. Good story, but yeah. What was I gonna say though? About this idea. I'm now just kind of itching to want to see a sort of like just like an epic, Soul and Venestra versus Kamir. This is going on for a while, and then boom, a Sith Lord shows up, and it's everyone like. For some reason, that idea just keeps playing in my mind. Like there's like an initial conflict, and then the big bad reveals itself, and kind of what this is really far out there, like 3+ year prediction or whatever, but like. It would be super cool for the Thrawn and Ahsoka Mandoverse plotline is like Thrawn is the big bad, to start off, and there's a lot of conflict between them, but they end the conflict with there's some true evil, like the Grisk in the books almost, or something of the sorts, that the good guys and the bad guys gotta, group up to defeat a common enemy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that will happen, but I now I'm like wanting it more the more I think about it.
Yeah, I could see it going that way. Again, I'm coming back to that point where it's like, is the actor that we haven't seen, is he a senator, chancellor, or is he like him, Tenebros, Plagueis? Do we see? I would expect us to see another lightsaber duel. I feel like they kind of showed us the premiere for the first lightsaber duel, I feel like they have to have another one loaded
Yeah.
in the chamber. Like, in my opinion, I couldn't see that they wouldn't have another one ready
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
I mean, from watching the show, like of the episodes we've seen so far, and this is just from like my honest guess, like as far as like budget, it seems like episode 5, 8 about like episode 5 might have cost as much as all the other episodes combined, like from just like a, if I had to guess perspective. I mean, you get paid the same as an actor or whatever, but like the amount of time that was probably spent to choreograph, do all of that. Could we see a similar thing where like that, the rest of the budget, they really make some big splashes at the end with the budget they had, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I keep coming back to either Brendok or the Unknown Planet, because like if it's the Unknown Planet, there's not like a really big set there aside from the cave mouth. And this is speaking entirely from an external budget type of spending for the budget type of thing.
Mhm.
So like you could do like a natural duel kind of thing, because most of episode 6 is, or half of it at least, is just walking around in what looks to be Octu.
Yeah.
It isn't, but and then the other place it could be is like Brendok, because you already have the set there, so you could
Yeah,
just
destroy
kind of
it.
modify the set. Yeah, exactly. Modify the set and just kind of go with that, and then it could be basically, yeah. So
Jet makes a good point. We're less than half an hour away now. The clock is ticking. That's like this show. It's been very up and down for me week to week. Like there's been some really good moments, some where I'm like not as much, but the funnest part has always been being able to do these streams and speculate and see, okay, what's actually going to happen. Like now it's like killing me. Now it's like eating away at me. Like how are they going to conclude this? Yeah, I think now we're getting really nerdy with it from a budgeting perspective. Yeah, shooting a large lightsaber fight in the middle of the woods or a set they already have would make sense. Yeah, with that being said, I could see the fight being in the woods or on Brendok with that destroyed set. Basically, you could just destroy the set, like, well, not just but like modify, which could involve just having a wrecking ball to destroy it essentially and scatter it around. Wow, my mind is racing, definitely racing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The what if like brain's at maximum capacity right now, just thinking what's going on. But yeah, okay, we've been talking for a while now. You said this to kind of begin with, or you asked me this to begin with, but I don't know if this has changed or not now that we've been talking a bit. But how do you think the episode's going to start? I guess now 40 minutes later.
No, I think it's good. We're closing in on when it's gonna drop. I think we start. I think we start with who we started with last time, or we ended. No, we didn't end with them. I think. Actually, hold on. Okay, hold on. Maybe. All right. I think we start with May and Soul exiting hyperspace. I think that's where we start, because that gives us a direction to where we're gonna be at.
Yeah, I can see it exiting. Usually, they like to, have an exit. They do that for a lot of scenes. Like I think that was done in Ahsoka, at least one episode. I could be spitting out, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was 5. It was 5.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. It really does just set the tone, and especially in a more fast-paced episode. Even with like the finale of Mandalorian season 3, more. I don't know. I don't think they necessarily did that, but just like to make, because they have to accomplish a lot. Like the reality of it, like they have to accomplish a lot. So how do they set the tone early on in this episode to get that status quo for the next 40? Is this 40 to 45 minutes or what do we know about how long?
I think they said the last 2 episodes were gonna be 44 each. So last one was like 43.5 or something. So yeah, pretty much 44.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're both the same.
Okay. Okay. I agree with the Cunningham family. We definitely need to see another lightsaber fight. Yes, lightsaber good.
I like lightsaber go burr.
Yeah. Right.
And last week's duel was actually really great. It was so good, especially Torben with the swinging the lightsaber.
Yeah, I really like that. Cool just seeing how big the lightsaber, like for Kelnok, like just like just a force. I like the idea of them kind of going into his brain. Okay, well, I mean, okay, it sounds bad, but like it's an interesting idea, is what I'm getting at. Has that? I mean, that's been done before with Night Sisters. Yeah, that's been done before in Rebels with Sabine and
Canon,
yeah, Sabine and Kanan. So it's a similar idea for sure. And it's a fun idea, and I think it makes sense that Kelnako was a formidable force, but at the same time, he would probably be stronger on his own almost, because like they're able to fend him off when they're trying not to kill him narrowly, but like if he was on his own and truly fighting at full power, do you think he'd be stronger than with the mind control?
I feel like it because it really seemed like the entire coven had to control him. Like with Torben, it was only Mother and Asaya. But with Kalnaka, like Koril went into him, and then after that, it was like the entire coven was like, all right, we got to control the Sasquatch, and then once the connection was broken, they like died.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I think you're right though. I think he would just dominate if he was.
and did all those witches die like when that like connection was like cut off? Like,
Yeah, it seemed like they did. It seemed like it just like I think they were so focused on outward energy that it like came back and you
yeah,
know.
I could see like a yeah, it's kind of like really, it's like high risk, high reward. I was thinking almost the opposite, where it's like they're like they have a string of life, like they're saying in a string or the thread. They have a thread of
Right,
life
yeah.
force, kind of like narrowly connected to Kelnaka, and when that was severed, well, now that string was cut in half, where like 95% of their life force was just severed away from it in one like kind of, which is dangerous if somebody knows that weakness. I wonder if something like that would come up again. Oh, hey Skylark, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I think because we have seen a decent amount of like witchcraft and these witches, it's not that it like, I'm not trying to like say I necessarily expect it, but like I feel like something's got to come into play with the last two, like the two flashback episodes have to have some kind of meaning, whether we're on Brendok for the finale or Osha or May embraces the witch inside of them, or Mother Koril comes up. I feel like there's got to be some kind of connection to kind of tie it all together with like the Sith in the end, and some kind of confrontation. So I'm interested again to see where that even goes. And the poll, it looks like, is most people think both are gonna die, and then a few people voted Osha or May, and then there's about a third of people that say neither. That's more than I would even think that would vote that, but 50% saying both dead. So, whew. Any other polls we should ask? So should I ask, is Soul gonna die? 100% say yes. No. You know?
I think that's a fair question. Or you could do like, is Soul gonna die or is he gonna get covered up?
Okay.
Or, something like that. Is he gonna get got?
Will Soul get got? Yes, no, third option. I'm just gonna put. I'll leave that to the viewer's choice.
I really don't want to see Soul die. I really like him, but I think Bro's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, he made it every episode at the very minimum. I mean, that's more than Yordhorn and Jackie.
He did. We gotta find what's a death related word that rhymes with soul.
Soul no mo.
Soul.
I just kind of cut off the L, but
I like that. I like that. Full no mo. I like that.
Well,
uh,
it's almost like I had
that's
that ready,
good.
but no, I thought of that right then. But
That was good. I like that one. Permission to use that in a tweet if he does die.
feel free. Feel free. Somebody said fourth option in the chat. Well, okay. Yes. Yes, fourth option. Well, 20-minute countdown now. What you got any snacks? Any snacks special snacks you have for the finale?
Ice cream. Ice cream. How about you?
Yeah, I ran out of ice cream. I'm gonna eat just chocolate chips. Just I have a bag of chocolate chips. I know that doesn't sound healthy, but I'm a chocolate fiend. What can I say?
Look, this the what the hell's it called? Your free day is Acolyte Day. Free day is Acolyte Day.
Oh, I'm eating the bag then.
Uh, I'm finishing the ice cream. I'm with you, bro. I'm gonna be finished with it 10 minutes in. Like I graze when I watch. I'm like I get so locked in. I'm like, all right, gotta start.
Oh,
Chowing down.
yeah. Bly also saying they like the mint chocolate chip, which is funny because yeah, I had mint chocolate chip. Is it still mint chocolate chip or did you run out of mint chocolate chip?
I ran out. I got what is it? This it's a three kind. It's chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. That one. It's like all in the thing.
That does sound really good. On a serious note, since I haven't really said this, I did want to address just the whole kind of stay on target crew. Very sorry to hear about the loss you guys experienced. My thoughts
Yeah,
and
sorry for your
prayers
loss, guys.
are with y'all, and hope to chat soon. Um, yeah, well, I just wanted to touch on that. Dan couldn't make it tonight, but yeah, hopefully we'll get together again soon. Dan and Dustin and the rest of the crew. Wow. Okay. Every minute now is like it's going by quick, but it's also going by slow. Like you get what I'm like.
I'm with you. It was 7:30 like 2 minutes ago. Now it's 7:42, and I'm confused.
Right? Yeah. Trying to think.
What do you think this ends on? Like, what do you think the last like 3 minutes are gonna be? How about that?
Last 3 minutes. I feel like I gotta. I can't just pick one option. There's like but what do I think versus what I okay? How about this? I do what I think versus what my top pick is, or like what I would want. I guess what I think, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. I think the last 3 minutes. I'm gonna go with the bold prediction of last 3 minutes are OSHA and May 5-10 years later at some far distant planet, like doing witch stuff. Okay, that's like
Mhm.
that's my bold prediction, I guess, of like how I could like right now there's so many options that even though that's like 10% or whatever, like there's definitely a higher chance of them dying. I still feel like that's a decent option overall if I had to like bet, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I still think there's one of them is probably going to die or both of them, but I could see that as a realistic possibility. And then the last 3 minutes, just a Sith Lord walking amongst a bunch of bodies, just walking past a bunch of bodies with ominous music. No, even not even a single line, just ominous music of like a Darth Tenebris just walking through the bodies that he has slain.
I can see that. I can see that.
How about you? Okay. If you had to put your money on it versus what you want, I guess, like if you had to pick.
All right, I'm putting my money on Osha and Kimir, and they are forming the Knights of Ren. That's what I'm putting my money on. I put my money on ending with them. Maybe it's just that's my over under. Yeah, that's the gambling. Uh maybe it's just Osha, maybe it's just Kimir. maybe it's both of them. I think one of the two of them, if not both of them, Knights of Ren. What I want to happen, either an ending where we see the Jedi Council or the Sith Lord. I think it would be the Sith Lord because Acolyte's darker. So that's kind of what I'm going with.
Yeah, those are great, and I mean they've had the Knights of Ren music being played in the background. Um, they gotta be, and that would make a ton of sense. And honestly, like if they did make Kamir like the founder of Knights of Ren, like as someone that's not as inclined about the sequels, that would already like tie it together more for me to appreciate that aspect of the story more. Like that would be a smart move.
Yeah, I could really see them going in a direction where where they lead to the Knights of Ren. Like, you know how in the beginning he was like to kill the dream to be an acolyte type of thing. He might say something like it could be like kind of something similar to that, but to be like instead of to be an acolyte, it's to be a knight, like a knight
Mm,
or a knight of Ren or something like that. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
we'll play on words,
like
kind
that
of.
could be like a yeah, little bit of a like the inspiration from the Sith, but we're something different and we are a little more culty.
Yeah, I do also like the idea because yeah. This gambling, you know, my chips the chips aren't in until 8 o'clock, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Um, but just exploring, I guess, other options of how it ends. Your idea of the Jedi Council, I think that are you referencing the cover up scenario potentially?
Yeah, I'm referencing like Jedi Council is like maybe they're on a call with the Chancellor and they're like, "No, we don't know what you're talking about. 10 Jedi just disappeared. We have no idea what that was."
Yeah,
Like they went out to the galaxy, now they're not there.
yeah.
Don't know what happened, you know? Like kind of something like that. But
Hmm.
I'm mostly saying that because I do want to see I want to see a couple of familiar faces, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Cat actually. I I I bet we see Cat in this episode.
Okay. Okay. We shall see. I mean, they threw him in there. They threw shit all
I'm,
in.
I'm putting the
He
money
put
in.
all
All
in,
in.
all in. Okay, you heard it here.
All in on
Chiari,
Chiarimundi.
Chiari Mundi. All right, doubling
Infinite,
down. Doubling
infinitely
down.
wrong,
All right, if we're
infinitely
saying
wrong
if
one-liner man.
you know what, all in Darth Jar Jar. Okay, I know he hasn't been born
Yes,
yet,
yes,
technically, but think about it. Think about it.
I'm here for it. All in for Darth Jar Jar.
All in. Okay, actually though, on a more serious note, well, okay, that was serious. Just to put it there, I was serious. But Yoda too, on the council too. It would be cool to see him for a second at this in this junction of time too. And if they are doing the cover up, hearing his take on the matter.
Yeah, uh, I don't know. I don't know.
Part of me
12 more
like,
minutes.
yeah, 12 more minutes. Jeez, okay, we got to be wrapping up here. Chat, put your final predictions in. This is like we'll say like the 2-minute countdown to the end of the stream, the final prediction stream. Okay, mind racing. It as much as I do want to see a Sith like show up. Okay, yeah, come on, who doesn't? It would be pretty cool to see, like from a political standpoint, some kind of like cover up though. Like they could be done in a way that could be super fun too. I just don't know if like they could have time for it, but I feel like there certainly is going to be some sort of conflict. So whether the conflict is the conflict to end all conflicts or the conflict that leads to the cover up or something else, we shall see. Skylark says everyone dies. Jep the Gamer says huge fight, Sith Lord cover up, wrapped up story. Bly says Chancellor appears guaranteed. That would be
I
great
got
if you.
something for you actually.
Yeah.
So remember, I'm kind of tying in these things. I again, I'm all in on Chiarimundi, but that 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 senator that showed up in episode 6, yeah, the senator that showed up that Vernestra was talking to.
Mhm.
I feel like that could be a tie to what could be a political discussion because they were talking about a young senator that was eager to do something, and Vernestra was concerned because it was going against Jedi interests.
Hmm.
and the other senator was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. He's just eager for influence or control or whatever." The whole. I think that could be like a thing that shows up, like kind of introduce some political arc, wrap it up with whatever Venestra sees or kind of comes up with, and then I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too deep.
No, I mean, again, this is like this episode. Most of all, we've got like 100 darts, and we're just one of these is bound to hit. One of
Bro,
these.
we gotta hit something. We gotta hit something.
Yeah.
We got stormtrooper aim over here, bro.
Yeah, we kind of do, don't we? It's been fun though,
I love it. I love it, though.
Yeah. Cunningham family says it would be great if Yoda was in it. Yeah, I mean, it definitely would be. I do want to see, like, it's not make or break for me, but I think that would be fun. Fun to see any of those council members. Just more connections to the prequels, because I think if anything, the show has kind of been emphasizing is this connection to the prequels and how do they relate the Jedi's, misgivings and their attitude that ultimately leads to their demise. Like, again, this is still in the same universe where the Jedi fudge up and pretty much all of them die. Some people I feel like seem to forget that. Like but it's like 100 years before, like, everyone dies. So I wouldn't mind seeing more, like, because a cover would make perfect sense. Like they can't even admit to their own faults that they have to, if you push something under the rug, chances are that's going to come up to like haunt you later, which could that be the case here? Or are we going to see the epic fight, which could be fun either way. Yeah. Any last minute things before we get on out of here? We're about to, all right. We got to get the ice cream ready. I gotta get situated. Make your popcorn. Thanks everyone that's kind of been hanging out for all these prediction streams. It's been a ton of fun covering the Acolyte. Excited to see where it ends. Maybe we'll do some kind of stream to like talk about everything once it's done. I don't know. It's been fun. Thanks again, Anthony. Make sure to go check him out in the title, Pen Patrol Star Wars, the King of What Ifs. Thanks again for joining every week. It's been fun, man.
Dude, thank you for having me. It's been a blast. It's been a blast. I loved it.
Heck yeah. All right. Soul, no, mo. A fitting ending for the act.